Welcome back to educator.com. This lesson is on distributive property. When you're using distributive property, you're multiplying everything on the inside the parentheses to the number on the outside. So you're going to distribute the outside number to everything inside the parentheses. So here are just some examples with variables. A and B, C and D are all variables. So if I have A, the outside number is A, I'm going to multiply it to the inside number of B. So this is just going to become A times B, which is AB. Here I have two numbers inside the parentheses. So you're going to take this outside number, multiply it to both numbers. So first I'm going to multiply it to B. So it's going to be A times B is AB. Then I have the plus to separate them. And then A, the outside number, to that number. So it's going to be A times C, which is AC. This one, there's three numbers on the inside. So I take my outside number, multiply it to that one. It's going to be A times B, and then separate using that, plus A times that one, so it's AC. And then I have a third one, so I separate it with that plus, and then A times D. So you're just multiplying the outside number to everything inside the parentheses. So some examples. 4 times 3 plus, or 2 plus 3. Here, you can go ahead and solve inside the parentheses first before multiplying the 4. So you can solve this out by doing 4 times 2 plus 3 is 5, and then this 4 times 5 is 20. If you want to use distributive property, because sometimes you do have to use distributive property, you're going to take the outside number of 4, multiply it to the first number, 2. So it's 4 times 2 is 8. Okay. I have a second number, so I'm going to separate that by that plus sign. Then 4 times that number is 12. And then 8 plus 12 is 20. So you're going to get the same answer. Now we notice that this one is a lot easier. So if you can solve inside the parentheses first, then go ahead and do it that way. But sometimes you have to do it this way. You have to use distributive property, just like in the next example. So 2 times A plus 6. Here, inside the parentheses, A plus 6, I can't solve that out because this one, A is a variable, and this is a number, so I can't combine those. This is not 6A, okay? This A plus 6 is just A plus 6. So in this case, since I can't solve within the parentheses, I have to use distributive property. So you're going to take the outside number of 2, multiply it to the first number or letter of A, and that becomes 2A. Okay, 2 times A is 2A. And then you still have a second number, so you're going to separate it. You're going to write your plus sign, and then take your outside number, multiply it to that second number. 2 times 6 is 12. Okay. Now right here, 2A plus 12. Again, I can't solve that out because I have a variable here, and this one doesn't have that same variable. So my answer will just be 2A plus 12. Okay, you're going to leave it like this, 2A plus 12. A few more examples. This one right here. Again, I can't solve within the parentheses, so I have to use distributive property. Take the outside, which is C, multiply the first number inside. So C times 5 is 5c. 5c. When you have a number multiplied to a variable, you're just going to write it together like this, 5c, with the number first. So it's instead of c5, you're going to write 5c. And then I have a minus to separate those two. And then this one times the second one. So ca, or you can do ac, doesn't matter. When you have a variable times a variable, you're just going to write them together. So it's ca or ac. Okay? And we can't subtract these together because they have different variables. So that is just my answer. Okay, the next one. 10 times 8 minus 3. Now here I can solve within the parentheses. So I can do 10 times 8 minus 3 is 5. So 10 times 5 is 50. Or if you have to use distributive property, take the outside number and multiply it to that first one. Okay, so this is 80. Write this sign to separate them. Then I'm going to do 10 times the second number, which is 30. And then 80 minus 30 is 50. So you have to make sure that these numbers are the same. Okay, and that's your answer. This example right here, 4 times b plus c. Again, you take the 4, the outside number, you're going to multiply it to that first number inside, or in this case letter. 4 times b is 4b. Again, number times a letter, you're just going to write it together with the number in the front. So it's 4b plus, and then multiply to that one, the second one. 4 times c is 4c. I can't combine them. They have different variables. That's my answer. The next example, 9 times 5 minus d. I can't solve within the parentheses, so take the outside number, multiply it to that first one, 5. 9 times 5 is 45. You're going to write the sign to separate them, and then 9 times d, which is 9d. So 9d, and I can't combine them, so that is my answer. Let's do a couple more. Okay, so 7 times m minus 8. Let me just write that again. So here, again, I can't solve within the parentheses because I have a variable, m minus 8, a number, and this one doesn't have the same variable. So in this case, I have to use the distributive property. I'm going to take my outside number, which is 7, multiply it to everything inside the parentheses. So I take the 7, multiply it to m, the first thing in there. 7 times m is 7m. Again, you have a number times a letter or a variable. When you do that, you're going to write it 7m with the number first. Then you're going to write this sign to separate them. And you're going to take the outside number and multiply it to that second number in there. So 7 times 8 is 56. I look at this and I can't combine them, I can't subtract them because this has a variable of m and this one doesn't. So that becomes my answer. I'm just going to leave it like that. My next example, x plus y plus 3. So for this one, I have 3 different things I have to distribute to. I have to distribute the outside number to. So I'm going to take the 2, multiply it to the x first. 2 times x is 2x, separate it with that sign, plus, then 2 times the y is 2y. Going to have to separate it with that sign. And then 2 times the 3, which is 6. Can I combine any of these? No, none of these are like terms because this has a variable of x, this one has a y, and this one doesn't have a variable. So you're just going to leave like that as your answer. Okay? So again, when you're using distributive property, you're going to take the outside number, multiply it to each thing inside the parentheses, separate them with the sign, okay, with the plus or the minus sign. Okay? And then after you distribute that, see if you can combine like terms together. If not, then that is your answer. Okay? So that's it for this lesson. Thank you for watching educator.com.